The submersible imploded in a shriek of metal. 3 miles down, Kazu drowned in the Pacific blackness. He gasped, awake in a straw hut, a burning pain tearing through his shoulder.
Brother, you are awake. The brand they gave us 3 days to pay, or I'll be taken.
Kazu touched the seared flesh on his shoulder. The debtor's brand was raw, still crusted with dried blood. Memories crashed through him. The submersible, a field of nodules, the implosion. He was not the man this body belonged to.
Baron's orders. No payment by sunset, and we take the girl. Understood.
Kazu, what do we do? We have nothing left to sell. They'll really take me.
Manganese nodules. I studied them. The seawater holds trace precious metals. If I can replicate the electrolysis, it's risky. If the Baron finds out, it's execution. But I'll die anyway if I do nothing.
He would need a clay jar, copper wire, and seawater. And a miracle. Under a sliver of moon, Kazu crept to the shore, gathering the jar, wire, and seawater.
The copper must be pure, the current steady, if the metal plates align.
He placed the jar in the old tool shed, connected the wire, and waited as the night crawled past.
Silver. It's actually silver. A pinch of dust, but it's proof.
At first light, Takeda found him. The old fisherman's eyes held a grim knowledge.
I've seen men hang for less, lad. The Baron's tax collectors are not what they seem. They notice everything.
Later, the Baron himself rode through the village. A debtor cowered in the dirt, begging for mercy.
This is what happens to those who forget their place. Your pain is my profit.
The sea cave. Deep and hidden. That's where I need to be. No one will find me there.
The tiny silver dust in his palm was enough to stall the debt for one more day, but not enough to break the chain. He found the sea cave within a week, a dark, wet maw hidden behind a waterfall, safe from prying eyes.
3 ceramic jars, copper wires, and a steady current. If the plates don't corrode, I can pull more than silver.
Weeks passed. The jars bubbled day and night, and the first grains of gold dust settled at the bottom.
This metal will buy our lives. But one loose word, one soldier's suspicion, and we're dead.
The seamounts. I can still see the charts from the old world. Northeast of the bay, rich with nodules.
Under the cover of dawn, he sailed a borrowed skiff and lowered a weighted dredge net into the dark water.
There. Fist-sized nodules, black but laced with gold and silver. It's more than I ever hoped.
Takeda slipped small pouches of dust to the tax collector, a little each week. Too much would raise flags. But the collector's brow furrowed. Depths that had been climbing for years were shrinking, and he sent word to the castle.
The Baron's men are sniffing around. The cave is safe, but we need to move faster.
Someone is defying me. Find them, Goro, before the peasants forget who owns this land.
We have enough to clear 3 villages. It'll trigger a backlash, but the people need hope.
Under a moonless sky, Takeda slipped the final pouches to the tax collector. The ledgers were wiped clean.
Brother, I am free. The scroll is gone. We are no longer property.
That night, on the dark beach, Kazu drew diagrams in the wet sand. Fishermen gathered close, eyes sharp.
You are giving them the sea's secret. Once they know, the Baron can't crush it, no matter how many torches he lights.
At dawn, Goru's soldiers stormed the village and set fire to the old tool shed. Inside, only scraps of clay and wire.
Burn it. You can't unteach what they've learned.
The real equipment was already deep in the sea cave, hidden behind a waterfall, untouched by the flames. Kazu watched the column of smoke rise from the cliffs. The Baron's fury had only forged a rebellion. Kazu pulled Yuki into the shadowed forest, the crash of soldiers' boots echoing behind them.
They're closing in. What do we do?
A low whistle cut the air. Takeda emerged from behind a mossy boulder, leading them to a hidden streamside camp.
The fishermen have built 3 extraction rigs using your diagrams. But the Baron is hanging anyone he suspects.
In the village square, Baron Rayu watched from a wooden platform as a man was dragged to the gallows.
This filth thought he could steal from me. Let his death remind you, silver belongs to the Baron.
Kazu stared at the bark in his hand, knuckles white. The executioner's drum still throbbed in his ears.
No more hiding. If the Baron wants silver, we'll drown him in it. From the sea.
He scratched a new plan onto the bark. Flood the markets with his hidden gold, all at once, from Shizukawa to the capital. The time for secrecy was ending. The Baron would soon learn that the ocean held more wealth than his mines. Within a week, the market square of Shizukawa was flooded with gold and silver so cheap that the Baron's mined ore became worthless.
This isn't chance, it's sabotage. Someone is mocking my rule. Goro, bring me his sister, alive. She will be the bait that ends this rebellion.
Before dawn, Goro's soldiers dragged Yuki from her hiding spot and bound her wrists in the frozen village square.
A message for the one they call Kazu. Give yourself up at the castle gate, or the girl swings at noon.
In the hidden camp, Takeda thrust a blood-stained note into Kazu's trembling hands. The note read, "Come alone to the castle gate by dawn, or your sister will hang."
It's a trap, lad. He'll kill you both the moment you surrender.
If I die, the sea's secret could die with me. But if I don't go, Yuki.
Far away, Yuki sat in a damp dungeon, clutching a small gold token her brother had given her, waiting for the dawn.
Surrender means death for both of us. But I have another way. A public spectacle the Baron can't ignore.
That night, on a moonlit beach, Kazu stood before a dozen fishermen, a heavy sack of gold dust at his feet.
In 2 days, I will draw silver from the sea in front of the entire village. The Baron's mines will be worthless.
And we'll stand with you, lad. Every man here owes his freedom to your secret.
The fishermen pledged to guard the demonstration site and spread the word to every debtor from here to the hills. By sunrise, Takeda moved through the market square, murmuring to every ear, a miracle was coming. Rumors spread like tide. The sea would birth silver. The Baron's soldiers laughed, but the people held their breath.
Everything depends on this. If the demonstration fails, Yuki dies, and the Baron wins forever.
In her cell, Yuki heard the faint echo of a fisherman's whistle and gripped the gold token tighter. As the moon rose again, the beach was empty, but the tide carried a promise that would crash upon the Baron's castle. The morning sun broke over a beach, packed with villagers, soldiers lining the dunes like vultures.
This is it. No turning back now. Every eye in the kingdom is on this tank. You think silver comes only from dark tunnels and pickaxes? The sea itself breathes metal.
He plunged the copper wires into the jar. For a long breath, nothing happened. Then a shimmer of silver dust bloomed. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Women clutched their children, and even the soldiers forgot their spears.
Silence. This is trickery. Seize him, Goro, now.
You'll have to go through me first, Goro. This boy speaks the truth.
Goru's sword slashed down. Takeda crumpled, but his body bought seconds. The crowd surged between the soldiers.
Kazu, don't leave me, please.
Kazu locked eyes with his sister, then vanished into the wave of fishermen. The Baron's roar of fury chased them. Kazu pulled Yuki onto a waiting skiff, arrows hissing into the water behind them.
Takeda's last shout echoed. Make the sea your weapon, lad.
The old fisherman stood bleeding on the shore, blocking the soldiers until the boat became a speck. They reached the sea cave, the waterfall's roar muffling Yuki's sobs in Kazu's clenched fists.
Kazu, without Takeda, without anything, how can we survive?
We don't just survive. I'll make sure the Baron's mines become his prison. The charts show every sea amount, every current. The ocean is a boundless treasury.
He traced the routes on the bark. From here, he could flood every market with so much gold that silver would be worthless.
The Baron has armies. I have the sea. Let's see which breaks first.
In the darkness, a new plan ignited, cold and relentless as the tide. The ocean was forever, and now it would answer only to him. Within days, fishermen slipped from the coast in the dark, their holds packed with gold dust bound for distant ports. In every market, the price of silver plummeted. The baron's vaults became storage for worthless metal.
My silver is rotting. The merchants laugh at my coins. Find the source and burn it.
But his soldiers went unpaid. Hunger and doubt spread faster than orders.
The Baron is finished. This boy holds the real power. Perhaps I can still come out of this alive.
A messenger slipped through the fishing nets with a note bearing Goru's seal. A parley at the old shrine on neutral ground.
That man killed Takeda. You can't trust him, Kazu. It's another trap.
She's right. But if Goro wants to switch sides, it could end this without more blood. I'll meet him. But we prepare an escape. If I don't return by moonrise, burn every piece of silver the Baron has.
As the sun sank, Kazu set out alone toward the shrine, the ocean's roar a distant promise of total victory or final defeat. The old shrine sat in a moonlit hollow, its stone fox guardians worn by salt wind. Goro waited, sword sheathed, his face unreadable.
The Baron has given the order. At dawn, soldiers will burn the village, every hut, every fishing boat. I didn't sign up for slaughter.
And why should I trust the man who killed Takeda? Words are cheap.
Because I am your only way inside the castle. You can't storm those walls without me. And I want out.
If you are sincere, then you'll help free my sister first. That's the price of my trust.
I can't release her now. The Baron would notice, but I can get you both into the bailey tonight. After that, it's your fight.
A midnight infiltration. It's reckless, but it might work. And if he betrays us, the fishermen will swarm this place. Fine. But if I don't signal by moonset, my men will burn the Baron's own treasury. And that's a promise.
They shook hands under the watchful stone foxes, a pact forged in desperation, not trust.
He could be leading me into a cell. But then again, so could the Baron's orders. Either way, tonight I end this.
That same moonless night, Goru slid open a rusted sally port. Kazu and Yuki slipped through the stone wall, hearts hammering.
I never thought I'd be grateful to a man who held a sword to my throat. But thank you.
Save it. Once we're in the courtyard, I am staying back. The Baron's guards will spot me if I turn now.
The inner courtyard blazed with torches. Baron Ryu stood on a stone block, shouting at a ragged line of soldiers.
Cattle, I feed you, clothe you, and you dare to desert? Whoever brings me the rebel's head will drown in silver.
That's my cue. Time to show them whose treasury is already full.
He stepped into the torchlight, Yuki behind him, and flung the bag at the Baron's feet. Gold coins and silver bars clattered across the stone.
Here is your silver, Baron. I pulled it from the sea. I have warehouses full of it. Your mines are worth less than sand, soldiers. You've been paid in promises. I'll pay you in gold. Real gold, if you stand down and let justice be done.
The soldiers looked at each other, weapons lowering. One man stooped to pick up a gold bar and the spell was broken. The Baron's face twisted in disbelief. With a shriek, he drew his sword and lunged at Kazu, but Goro intercepted, his blade meeting the Baron's with a clang that echoed across the stones.
Traitor, you'll hang beside this sea rat.
The soldiers, seeing their captain turn, formed a wall around the Baron. He was alone. From the gate, a trumpet blast shattered the chaos. A royal envoy rode in, flanked by spearmen in the king's colors. The envoy unfurled a scroll. By order of the king, Baron Ryu is stripped of all titles and lands for tyranny and theft. The Baron's silver robe was ripped from his shoulders. Chains were locked around his wrists. The envoy turned to Kazu. The king has heard of your miracle. He grants you the right to harvest the sea's bounty for the crown.
Brother, we won. We actually won.
Kazu pulled Yuki into an embrace. the first rays of dawn warming their faces. The ocean's wealth was now his to command forever. Before the cheering crowd, the envoy offered Kazu the title of Crown's Master of Marine Resources, a noble's life of power.
A title can be just another chain. If I hoard this secret, another baron will rise. I will accept, but only if the crown grants a charter so that every village can learn this art. No more secret wealth.
The envoy nodded assent. A scribe swiftly drafted the Maritime Mining Guild, ordered to share the sea's breath with all. That very afternoon, Kazu and Yuki rode through the village gate. Straw hats flew into the air, and the name Kazu echoed like a wave.
Listen, brother. They're shouting your name from the rooftops.
It's not my name, they're cheering. It's Takeda's. It's every fisherman who dared to dream.
In the square, on the very block where Takeda had been seized, Kazu stood and announced the school. The school would teach every fisherman how to draw silver from salt water. Knowledge was no longer a weapon. It was a tide that lifted all boats. And as the sun set, the first students sailed into the glowing sea, their nets filled with promise. Takeda's dream lived in every drop. Months later, the village had become something no one could have imagined. Gold and silver flowed through the streets like a river. Children learned to read the waves and the metals they carried. The sea cave was now a hive of ceramic jars and copper wire, but Kazu walked a quieter path. He climbed the old cliff, a single gold coin held in his palm. At the edge, a simple stone marker stood where the wind never stopped. Takeda's grave, facing the open ocean.
We did it, old man. The sea is free, and so are the people.
He stood, and the memories crashed. The submersible scream, the first silver dust, Takeda's final shout, the Baron's sword clashing.
The ocean is forever, lad.
A rare smile touched Kazu's lips. The weight of 2 lives finally felt light. Turning back toward the village, he saw the lights beginning to glow in the dusk. The journey was far from over, but now, the ocean was not a grave. It was a promise, and it belonged to everyone. In the quiet of the night, Kazu sat before the hearth, a small piece of wreckage from another world resting in his palm.
Not an engineer anymore, not a debtor. Just a man who listened to the sea.
Yuki's soft breath came from the corner. She was safe, and that was all he had ever wanted.
Home. I never thought I'd find it. Not after the implosion. But here it is.
He set the token on the mantle and moved to the window. The village lay dark under a silver moon. Far off, the ocean whispered its eternal song. A shooting star traced a brief arc above the water.
The ocean is forever, and so are we, as long as we remember.
He smiled, a quiet, unburdened smile, and turned from the window. The firelight flickered low, and the room softened into shadow. Outside, the tide kept its rhythm. Somewhere in the deep, a field of nodules glittered, waiting for the next dreamer. Years had passed, and the village was no longer a collection of huts. Gold and silver adorned every rooftop, a testament to the sea's gift. Children ran through the streets, their wooden toys replaced by golden figurines that clinked like coins. Kazu wandered to the shore, where a bronze statue of Takeda stood, his staff pointing out to the horizon.
You'd laugh, old man. The sea keeps giving, and we're still learning how to listen.
A young fisherman sprinted across the sand, his eyes wide. In his hands, a nodule pulsed with an eerie blue glow.
A new treasure? Let's see what the sea has given us now.
He took the rock, its surface warm to the touch. He turned toward the water, where boats waited. The sun rose higher, gilding the waves. Kazu knew there would always be another mystery beneath the surface, for the ocean was not conquered. It was a partner, a teacher, an endless frontier. And as long as men set sail with hope, the nodules would wait in the deep, ready for the next dreamer. A decade later, the guild's sigil was stamped on every gold bar in the kingdom. Kazu's sea-born wealth had outpaced the minds of all lords. Merchants from distant continents bowed at his docks. trading silks and spices for his precious metals. But the true measure of his monopoly was not in the gold, but in the eyes of every child who could now read the sea's script. Kazu climbed the cliff one last time, the wind tasting of salt and memory. Below, his village had become a city of silver.
I drowned once, and the sea gave me a second life. Now, it belongs to no one, yet sustains everyone.
He watched the sun set on the endless water, and for the first time, he felt no pull to go further. That night, the guild ships sailed with flags unfurled, their holds heavy with the deep's bounty. No king could challenge the ocean's chosen. He had not just survived, he had reshaped a world, and the sea forever would remember. In the years to come, they would call him the Sea Alchemist, the man who found infinite gold in a drop of water. But he knew the truth. The real gold was never in the nodules. It was in the hands that pulled them from the deep. In the capital, the king summoned Kazu to the great hall. The throne room glittered with the sea's gold, every pillar a testament to his monopoly. Kazu carried a simple wooden box. Inside lay a crown of pure platinum, crafted from the first ounce he ever extracted.
Your Majesty, this crown was born from the same water that once drowned me. Let it be a symbol that the ocean's wealth belongs to all.
The king rose, took the crown, and with his own hands placed it upon his head. The hall erupted in cheers. From that day, the royal mint struck coins only from sea metal. The mines were sealed, their lords stripped of power. Kazu turned from the ceremony and walked to the balcony. Below, the city spread like a golden grid, and beyond, the infinite sea.
Brother, you changed the world. How does it feel?
It feels like finally coming ashore. The deepest treasure was never in the sea. It was in the people who believed.
Below, a statue of Takeda was being unveiled in the main square. His stone eyes faced the ocean. Forever, the man who had died under the crushing dark had become the lighthouse for a new age. And the ocean, as always, kept its rhythm. On the anniversary of the Baron's defeat, Kazu climbed the cliff alone, the wind carrying the scent of salt and memory.
I was a man of science, then a debtor, then a rebel. Now, what am I?
He looked at the horizon where Submersible had once broken apart, and where his new life had begun.
A bridge between worlds. A voice that spoke the ocean's language.
You've been staring at the sea for an hour. Are you ever going to tell me what you see?
I see the end of one journey, and the start of countless others.
Below, the fleet of guild ships set out, their sails golden in the evening light.
The sea gave me a second chance. I spent it giving the world a new future.
And the ocean, vast and patient, whispered its eternal reply to the man who had learned its deepest secret. The man who had once drowned in darkness was now the light that guided a kingdom, forever tied to the sea. A generation later, the village breathed with the rhythm of the sea. Every child learned its language before they could walk. On a driftwood bench facing the sea, an old man sat, his eyes the color of deep water.
The Baron is a ghost now, and the brand is just a scar. The sea erased everything but the lesson.
Yuki appeared beside him, a silver pendant glinting around her neck, the first dust he ever pulled from the water.
You remember the night you made this? I was so scared you'd burn the house down.
I was scared too, but the sea gave me courage, and Takeda gave me hope.
They sat in silence as the tide rolled in, a fleet of small sailing boats dotting the horizon.
It was never about the gold. It was about breaking the chains, so the next generation could just sail.
And the ocean, ever patient, stretched to infinity, carrying its secrets from shore to shore. The man who had once drowned 3 miles deep had, at last, found his horizon. The old man and his sister sat until the sun touched the water. Their shadows stretched long behind them, like the echoes of the village they had rebuilt. No one disturbed them. The sea was their sanctuary now, as it had always been, and in the gentle crash of the waves, one could almost hear the whisper of old friends, the clink of silver dust. The brand on his shoulder had long since faded, But the sea's mark on the world would never wash away. In the village, children lit paper lanterns, sending them skyward in memory of the man who freed them. And high above, a single lantern drifted out to sea, a tiny star returning home. The ocean was forever, and so, in the hearts of those who sailed it, was the sea alchemist. His name echoed in the tide, his lesson written in every net cast into the deep. Fade to black. The title, I use deep sea mining knowledge in the ancient world. Now I monopolize gold and silver appears, then fades to the sound of waves.